News Debate Forum Voice. It is truly a pleasure to be here this evening to join with you in this incredibly important act of democratic participation. And we have the wonderful opportunity to be hosted by the premier Performing Arts Center here, NJPAC, as well as the premier civil rights and public interest legal advocacy organization, the New Jersey Institute for Social Justice. So my job's real simple tonight, as I've said to others, is to not make the news. And with that, I am going to bring our candidates out for the gubernatorial race. First, I welcome State Senate President Steve Sweeney to the stage. Senator John Bromnick. Former Mayor of Montclair, Sean Spiller. Mr. Stephen Zielinski. Jersey City Mayor Stephen Fulop. Hometown Mayor Raz Baraka. And since we're here in Essex County's own Mikey Sherrill. Congressman Mikey Sherrill. We have an enthusiastic crowd. So I just introduced all of our candidates in the order in which they will make opening statements. And at this moment, I will go over the rules before we begin their opening statements. Each candidate will deliver a 2-minute opening statement, the order of which has been determined by a random drawing. They will proceed in the order of which they're seating, starting with Senator Sweeney. The forum will be comprised of 4 total questions. Each candidate will have 2 minutes to answer each question, and all candidates will answer each question. Due to timing, we will not be able to accommodate inter-candidate responses. This is a forum and officially not a debate. In the event that I pose a follow-up question or a little bonus question, I will allow each candidate up to a minute to respond. Due to the number of candidates and the tightness of our schedule, I will let you know that your time is up. The candidates can now see a clock that is counting down. When it goes negative, which you cannot see, but when it goes negative, you're over time, and I will press you to wrap up your comments. Each candidate will also deliver a 1-minute closing statement. And they've all been given the ground rules in advance. So with that, I'm not going to break my own rules because we are now over. Opening statement, Senator Steve Sweeney.
Thank you, and I really appreciate the opportunity to be here. I want to introduce myself to you. My name is Steve Sweeney. I'm a union iron worker. I didn't go to college. I went to apprenticeship. And I was just a construction worker, living life like everyone else. And I had a situation where I had a daughter born with a disability, and she was premature. So there's a lot of things you can do in life. You can, accept things the way they are, or you can strive to make things better, to try to find a way to make the quality of life for people with disabilities more complete. And that's what I decided to do. I ran for office. I was elected freeholder in Gloucester County in 1997. I became the freeholder director. I was there for 13 years as the director. I ran against a 28-year incumbent for the Senate and won. Became a senator. I was there 6 years. After 6 years, I became the majority leader, and after that, I became the Senate president. I was Senate president for 12 years. And my father always told me to look out for the little guy. Always look out and try to make sure you help people. And that's why we did minimum wage. I'm very proud that I was the prime sponsor of minimum wage, that we just didn't raise minimum wage. We raised it with an indexing to create pressure to bring wages up. Because there's a lot of states that still are at 7.25. We're at 1548 or 49, and every year we know one thing, it's going to go up. My 75 days in the neonatal unit is where paid family leave came from. Paid family leave in New Jersey is a wonderful benefit, and it's a benefit so you can be with your loved one when you're in a time of crisis, not having to worry about your job because I can't pay my bills if I'm not working. So we took that tough decision away by creating paid family leave. Thank you. Right on time.
Excellent, excellent. Senator Robert.
Hi, I'm John Bramnick, Republican state senator, and actually formerly the Assembly Republican leader and a councilman in Plainfield. So we got an invitation to come to the social justice panel at the NJPAC. And I spoke to my advisors, and they go, well, none of the other Republicans are going. So I looked at the invitation, I said, social justice, I'm in favor of justice. I'm in favor of social justice. Why can't I go to a panel and tell people how important it is to have justice, especially in what's going on in the country today? I believe in due process, I believe in science, and most importantly, I'm against polarization of this country. I'm deeply concerned that people are in their lanes, they only listen to their respective cable channel, or they only listen to their respective app, and what's happening is people aren't talking to each other, not speaking to each other. That's not what America's been. That's not the America I grew up in, and that's why I'm here, and that's not the America I want to see in our future. I want to see us work together. When I first got to Trenton, I actually introduced in 2005 a civility resolution. People thought I was out of my mind. They said, well, you can't legislate people being nice to each other. You know something? I think it's probably a good idea. It looks like we might have to legislate people respecting each other because there's no other way we're getting there. I'm going to continue to fight the way Governor Kane wrote a book, Politics of Inclusion. Now, for some reason, that doesn't exist. I'm in favor of inclusion, and I'm in favor of civility and respect, and that's my platform.
Thank you, Mayor Spiller.
Well, thank you. Thank you to the Institute. Thank all of you for being here today. I'm Sean Spiller. First, I'm an immigrant. I'm an immigrant who came to this country as a young boy from Jamaica because my parents were chasing that American dream. But I can tell you also right away that when I saw my dad away for months at a time sending dollars home, I knew how hard New Jersey was to afford. I knew my parents were making a sacrifice. I then followed in my mom's footsteps, became a teacher myself, a high school science teacher, proudly serving for 15 years, helping our students and helping them achieve. But I saw the parents of those kids who were having to make hard decisions each and every day, supporting their family in one way or another, difficult choices that often harmed their children and certainly their futures. That's a tough place to afford. I've seen it as that union leader, right, representing folks who say we can't afford these ever-increasing healthcare costs. We can't afford to take care of our own families as we care for others because the state is just so hard to be able to get by. I've seen it, yes, as that mayor and a council person for 12 years. When those floods happen and we can't bail people out because, again, it just costs too much and then the insurance costs are too high. I've seen it when we are affected by housing prices that continue to go up and folks are getting priced out from the rents and can't afford to even buy that first home. All of these issues are personal to me. When I talk about standing up for every single person in this state as an immigrant, it's personal to me. When I talk about making sure people can support their families and maybe spend some time with their kids and be there for them, it's personal to me. When I talk about the fact that we've got to fight for working class folks to finally give them a shot, it's personal to me. So as much as I want to talk about the policies, though, that can change things and make life better for so many of us, I do want us to also recognize this fundamental piece that also has to change. The systems. The very system that we're in right now. Because if we want someone who's going to fight for housing that's affordable, we can't expect a person who's funded by high cost developers in their cities. If we want someone who's going to support those good-paying union jobs, we can't have somebody that's supported by pro-voucher, charter reform, ed reformers. If we want somebody who's going to make sure we're standing up for the middle class, we can't keep getting folks who are funded by Wall Street or Elon Musk and Donald Trump. If we want to change the system, we've got to start right here, right now.
Good evening. My name is Stephen Nicholas Zielinski Sr., and I am a Green Party candidate running for governor. Thank you. So, if you saw 2 weeks ago when I was with the NAACP, which was my first forum that I was invited to, you might want to find out the reason why I'm actually running for governor, one of the many reasons, is my wife Kathy, who was a special needs teacher for over 18 years until she passed away from cancer 7.5 years ago. She never smoked, she never drank, and it's heartbreaking. I could just look at all of you out there, and there's probably knowing somebody in your family, friend or whatever, that's dealing with cancer or heart disease or diabetes or obesity. One of the things, we are called the Garden State, and we spray more pesticides and herbicides on our crops and things of this nature. We cannot fix our healthcare system if we are killing ourselves in the front end. So my goal is to actually make New Jersey the first fully organic state in the United States. We're going to fix that, and at the same time, I want to make New Jersey a single-payer healthcare system. We can do this, we can lower our taxes, and people should not be denied their insurance. We're dealing with an energy crisis where your bill is about to go up 20% as of June 1st. My background is in the solar industry. We could actually make New Jersey fully solar independent, solar, wind, renewable energy independent. These are the things that I wanted to create, and I'm actually going to make New Jersey the second public bank in the nation behind North Dakota. Thank you.
Thank you. First, I want to say thank you for having me. I appreciate you all coming out today. My 2 minutes, I figure I'll take a minute to tell you a little bit about myself, and then a minute to tell you how our campaign is different. I'll start by telling you I'm a dad of a 6-year-old, a 4-year-old, and 1-year-old. At personal time, I like playing the piano, running triathlons. I come from a family of immigrants. My family came here after the Holocaust. Most of my family died in the gas chamber, and they came here for the opportunity. My dad had a deli in Newark, not far from here. I spent a lot of time in that deli. I proudly say I know more about the deli business than any gubernatorial candidate in the history of America. And after college, I got a job at a prestigious investment bank, maybe the most prestigious. And when 9/11 happened, after being there for 2 years, I decided to leave to enlist in the Marine Corps. And I viewed it as a partial payment for citizenship. I viewed it as a debt owed at the time, never thinking I'd be in this situation today in NJPAC talking to, I can't see how many people are there, but it seems like a lot. I decided to run for governor after being mayor because I understand the connectivity and the gaps that exist between Trenton and municipalities. And our campaign is different. I think at the end of this, you might say he's not the best speaker, or maybe he doesn't have the perfect background, or I don't agree with everything he said, but I hope that he'll say that he's more thoughtful and more substantive than any other candidate on either side. Our campaign is really about 3 things. It's about political reform from the beginning, changing the corruption tax that we all pay in New Jersey. I'm unapologetic about changing that entire system because I think it's important to moving New Jersey forward. The second thing is being detailed on policy. I mean, if you go to our website and you think about the transportation plan, how we're going to change New Jersey Transit, I outline the things I've done, what I will do in detail, 18 pages, 20 pages, mapping out, not with platitudes, but with substance on how we will get there. And the third thing about our campaign is articulating in clear detail in an era that we are today, not just saying I'm going to fight against Trump and Musk, that's the soundbite that everybody says, but telling you specifically how we will stand up for New Jersey and our most vulnerable communities. So thank you for coming out tonight. I look forward to a great dialogue.
Good evening. My name is Raz Baraka, mayor of this incredible city here. I've been the mayor for 11 years. I have been an educator for 23 years. Today is April 16th. April 16th in 1963, there was a political prisoner who wrote a letter from jail called "The Negro is Your Brother." We know that letter as the letter from the Birmingham jail. And that prisoner's name was Martin Luther King Jr. It was a response to a call for unity that his brothers, other colleagues, white ministers, said that we agreed with civil rights, but they thought he was too radical. They said that he should be more moderate. And that time, this is our letter from a Birmingham jail time, as they kidnap people off the street, as Mahmoud Khalil is being deported because he exercises free speech, because the wealth gap in New Jersey has just doubled from 300,000 to 600,000 between white families and black and brown families in this state. This is our moment. It's not a time for moderation. We shouldn't just be talking about the wealth gap. We should be talking about what reparations look like. We shouldn't be just talking about the disparity study. We should be talking about a public bank that invests in black and brown communities and economically distressed communities, on home ownership and expansion of small business. We shouldn't just be talking about the unaffordability of childcare. We should be talking about what does earned income tax credits expansion looks like, what does a child tax credit look like in the state of New Jersey. We should not just be talking about the inequity that exists here. We should be talking about putting more people in homes, closing that home ownership gap, investing in families in this community to make sure that communities like Livingston and Newark that are 8 miles apart don't have a 14-year life expectancy difference. We have to go further. We can't dance in the middle and play around with politics and be, say, the platitude to me is to tell people you're going to do all these things for everybody except the people who need it the most. And so the reality is we have to do something bold, something courageous, something new. We have to vote Ras Baraka June 10th to be the governor of the state of New Jersey.
Was that right?
Hi, my name is Mikey Sherrill, and I'm sitting here today. Thanks, Noah. I'm sitting here today looking across this country and not recognizing so much of what's happening. I'm a graduate of the Naval Academy. I've always been really proud of that. I have 2 kids that are going to the Naval Academy. And right now, we see that they are allowing 2 copies of Hitler's Mein Kampf to stay on the shelves, but removing Maya Angelou. So you can study why Hitler decided to commit a genocide, but you can't hear why the caged bird sings. And we are standing here today as we are seeing people picked up without charges and put in jail or deported mistakenly as Trump yucks it up with a foreign dictator about how he's not going to argue to get him back while he's ignoring court orders. So it's going to be up to the states to stand up against this. It's going to be up to New Jersey to stand against this as the first state in the nation that gets to weigh in on how we feel about what's going on in Washington, about how we feel about cuts to Medicaid and Social Security, about how we feel about cuts to the Department of Education, about how we feel about attacking the most vulnerable people in this country in service of the most wealthy. And we can stand here and decide on a different path. And so I'll be a different kind of governor, a different kind of leader. Somebody who is going to make sure that our kids have a great education, that we're driving down housing costs, that we build more housing, that we're making sure we have access for everyone, that we're driving down utility costs with more solar, that we're ensuring that we have better access to health care. Again and again and again, I know that we can do better here in New Jersey, and we can provide a sharp contrast to the debacle that is happening in Washington right now. Thank you.